Guys, welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today, we're going to talk about some intense stuff. And it is 100 reasons why not to get married. And I said, fine, 23 to keep it short. So we'll see, we'll see how short this becomes. But this is very, very important. Family life and marriage is truly the thing that sets your happiness or unhappiness from each other, okay? Like, if you don't get this one right, this is the most important decision that you will do in your entire life, okay? So let's make sure that this one is right, and I say don't do it at all, and I'll explain. First of all, let's understand my background. For those of you who have not seen me before, I am married, happily married. And we've been together for almost 11 years. In October, it'll be 11 years. And I've got 3 kids. And so I understand what I'm talking about. And if women are watching this, I suggest you don't, which will make you desire to watch this more. So enjoy. But this is for men. Okay, so first of all, if you are even thinking or considering about marriage and marrying your girl, or wanting to get married because you have warm fuzzy feelings about marriage or about your girl, and you don't have 100K in US dollars in net worth after your debts, then this is ridiculous. And I'm talking US dollars now before the hyperinflation, so let's think in terms of 100K in gold, silver, or Bitcoin, because there's going to be a hyperinflation anytime now. Within the next 6 to 18 months, maybe it'll take a few years because they somehow managed to trick the economy and jazz things around so that they can trick everyone that there's no financial collapse happening. Not at all. It's gonna happen. It's impending and it's real. How could you even believe and think that you can actually handle being with a woman and having a family and you being responsible for that family to protect and to provide them during that impending collapse? It's ridiculous to think that you're ready to even start a family now. If you have 100K in US dollars in hedging assets, okay, fine. Then at least the financials are in place. However, think about all the rich people that end up not having marriage work for them. No matter how much money you have, monogamy is still gonna suck, okay? And I'm gonna explain all of that over time. You might, also another part of my background is that I grew up very, very religiously and had family as my highest value, and I still do to this day. Okay, that's important to understand because you think that I'm anti-family or anti-religion or anti-this. No. I believe in God. I believe in Christianity. I believe in marriage, but not as it is done today. Okay, not at all. And again, I will explain. Number 2, does God really want you to get married in this current circumstance? In my opinion, no. You as a man need to get rich. That's your first responsibility. Always. As a man, you need to protect and to provide for your future family. That's important. You need to get that done ASAP. If you haven't done it, let's get going. Okay? Because once you get married, this is point number 3 or 4 now. Once you get married, you do not anymore have the allowance to work 80-hour work weeks anymore. You get married, suddenly she wants to spend time with you all of the time, okay? Have you noticed, guys that used to hang out with you, whatever, and then suddenly they got married and they disappeared from the face of the earth? Yeah, that's because the woman is in full control, obviously, in that marriage, and she is in 95% of marriages, if not all, and if she's not, then the man is forcing her to do things that she does not want to do and telling her what to do forcefully and emotionally, basically beating her up. Not physically maybe, but emotionally he is. And the guy who doesn't do that, he listens to his wife, he understands her, and he submits. So the woman decides over his time. So sayonara 80-hour work weeks, sayonara getting rich quickly. And I'm not for getting rich quickly. I'm for getting rich quick for sure. Okay, that's a combination. But do you understand what I mean? Like, you can get rich between the next 2 to 5 years as long as you're not married. If you get married, it's going to take 10 to 15 years, especially if you begin to have kids involved. I got a friend in Norway. He's my age. He knows everything about my philosophies, and he's like, I'm getting married this fall. And I'm like, very bad idea, but okay, go ahead, like as his friend, I'm not going to tell him. He understands everything that I'm sharing with you guys here, I think. And so I'm not going to push myself down his throat and explain like, no, bro, you don't get it, okay? So he's going to go ahead and do it because he believes that, oh, you know what? She can be an asset. She can be an asset to me becoming rich, and we'll become rich together. And she has all these contacts, and she actually has a lot of, she has some finances as well. And we're going to do, real estate and all that stuff. And I'm like, bro, you have no idea the problems that are going to enter into your life the moment you get married. The moment. And he's like, don't worry about it. I won't have kids for another 5 years. Okay, you don't get it. Let's move on. Let's see. I actually wrote down the list. Can you believe that? Okay. Number 5. Have you heard the quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson? The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. Desperation. He's talking about men living in marriages at that point, okay? Most of the guys during Ralph Waldo Emerson's time very often got married in their early 20s, mid-20s, and that was it. That was the moment they got into there. And that is a man, okay? A man during that time was not someone who was a bachelor, someone who hadn't gotten into a family and gotten married yet. The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. I wonder why that is. It's because of monogamy. It's because of marriage. It sucks. Number 6, ask around, okay? Have you seen any married men lately that are extremely happy? Okay? I'm happily married. I'll explain more about that in a sec. But ask around. Go to, and ask, a lot of married men. I'm talking 20, 30, 40, 50 guys. Preferably 1,000 if you can. But ask them all when the wife is not there and she cannot hear or see his answer. Okay? Because he won't tell the truth if she's there. Oh, I love my baby. I love my sweetheart. No, if you ask him in private, what are the problems that are going on in your marriage? If you don't mind me asking, I really want to know because I'm considering getting married. And this dude online on YouTube, he said that this is one of the worst mistakes I could ever do in my entire life. So I'd actually want to figure out from you what's actually that bad about marriage. And if he's religious, he's going to state things about, oh, God wants you to get married, and it's important. You shouldn't have sex outside of marriage, and blah, 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 blah. However, if he is not a religious man, most probably he's going to say, you know what? It's actually not as good as people make it out to be. That's what he's going to state. And he's going to say, the sex is good, it's okay, but, there's a lot of things that I wish I could do, but I can't, and you know what? I want to be responsible. So I want to make sure that I take care of my wife and kids. I love them. Why would I ever want to leave them? But marriage sucks. Ask around. Figure it out, okay? Have you done that? Because how many guys do you ask around, before you get married? Guys don't do that. They're so in love with the woman that they desire to marry that they're feminine, okay? They're massively in love. They're not thinking rationally. And because of that, they get screwed over, okay? I don't want that to be one of you guys. I want to actually help you to set yourself up for success and to have the lifestyle that you desire for life. Let's see, number 7 or 6.5. Okay. I said 11 years in October I've been married. The happiest time in my marriage was last year in 2019 when my wife left to America for 5 months, okay? Now, it wasn't planned to be 5 months. It was going to be 3 or 4, but then things happened and it got prolonged to 5 months. But that was the blissful, most happy, most enjoyable, amazing 5 months of probably almost my life, okay? There have been times when I was single, okay, that have been better. And I was a virgin when I got married, okay? So it's not because of the sexual aspects. It was because of simply having options. Simply being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it and not have to be considerate of another person without getting any form of reward for it. And trust me, no matter what marriage, no matter what woman, no matter what, she will become burdened and she will not have capacity to reward you for the efforts that you put into the marriage. So don't rely on her actually doing her part, because she won't. And to be honest with you, it's not her fault, and I'm going to get into that in a second. But I'm just saying, the 5 months were the best of my life for the last 11 years, the last 12, 13 years. Isn't that insane? And I practiced complete, utter, voluntary celibacy and abstinence, and I had no ejaculations, no porn watching, no nothing. Man, I enjoyed those 5 months. Alright, let's see. Number 7. Where are these? Okay. When you get married, there's two things in life. You either are feminine or you're masculine, right? Masculinity is what we always strive for as men. The more masculine you become in your life, the more amazing your life becomes, because people respect you. People are like, wow, that guy is quite amazing. The more handsome you become, the more attractive, the more sexual market value, the more people listen to you, the more everything. The more masculine you are, the more life is amazing. Always remember that. Guess what marriage does? It makes you feminine. No matter how masculine you are, no matter how much testosterone you've got, you will become more and more and more and more and more feminine because of marriage. Guess why? Because you're spending time with the woman. She's feminine. And she's going to make you more feminine. And it's going to make her more masculine if she's feminine. Okay? So it actually ruins both people. It's not just you. She gets screwed over too. So that's insane. Why would anyone enter into this kind of contract, legal obligation, including the government, when they know that most probably it's gonna end in divorce? And it does at least half of the time. Okay? That's ridiculous. Why would you do that to yourself? Don't do that. It's stupid. Okay? It's foolish. Oh, let's see. You become feminine. You become those that you spend time with. Have you heard about that one? Okay. In monogamy, women have all power in the relationship. They wear the pants. No matter if they wear the skirts, they wear the pants. The man is the head, and the woman is the neck. Who turns that head? Okay? That's not just a saying. It is a fact of life. Okay? Have you heard happy wife, happy life? Yeah, you know why? Because she's unhappy most of the time. Okay, and the man is now supplicating to her best interest and submitting to her all of the time. Why? Because he wants to keep the peace. Okay, there's two aspects in marriage. You either have passion, okay, and a lot of fighting, a lot of quarreling, and a lot of this, okay, and that's the only time you have passion, because you hate each other's guts, and then you need to make up about it, right? You need to have make up sex, and that's the only enjoyable sex that's actually in that marriage. Okay? Yes, you become friends, but like, if you could choose between passion or peace, which one do you want? I really want both. Can I have both? No, you can't have both in marriage. You can't. You either will have passion or peace. Make your choice. I decided I wanted to have peace in my life. Why? Because with peace comes consistency. At least you can be kind of consistent when there's peace. If there's disharmony, then there's distrust. Then there's like, is she going to leave me? Is she going to do this? What's she going to do? And then for me, what am I going to do? Am I going to do this, and then, oh, my mind is working now and focused so much on my relationship, and there's disharmony and what's going to happen with the kids and the money and this, all of that. And it ruins your long-term success. You want to be as consistent as possible. Consistency is key in order for you to get the exponential growth phase that allows you to establish, everything that you want to establish in your life. Okay? You don't understand this because you're not in it. Those that are in it understand what I'm talking about. Okay? Because the women end up having so many problems. Let's see. That's the next thing, isn't it? So let's see. Oh, yeah, because everything from this day onwards is your fault. Everything. The moment you enter into this legal obligation called marriage, everything from that moment on is your fault. And that's just not something happy that I'm saying, like, if you take all of the blame, then everything's going to work out. No, she knows it's all your fault. Okay? So whenever she will fight with you in the future, whenever you try to defend yourself, you're basically just mansplaining, and that's going to cause her to escalate even more. And even more, and even more, because she knows inherently that it's all your fault. And the moment you don't take the blame, you're being a little bitch. You're being feminine, because you now believe that it's her fault, so you're blaming her. But the moment you blame a woman, the moment you blame anyone, you've given them the power in the relationship now. Why would you want to give your woman even more power than she already has over you? Okay? There's two aspects in marriage where she has power over you. One is the sexual aspect, because you desire sex more than her. She needs it more than you, but you desire it more and more frequently than she does. The number two aspect is that she has way more intense emotions than you do. Way more intense emotions. So when it comes to like small itty bitty things in your daily lives, where that, like, you know, what should we decide on? What should we do? And if you find the rational choice that you know 100% or 95% that this is the best choice for us to do as a family, if she has a passion about that topic, if she has intense emotions about it, guess what? You are both going to choose the 5% answer because you want to keep the peace. And so you end up making the stupid choice, the emotional choice, based on her emotions, and she's the one leading the team. She's the one leading the family unit forward, and you're both unhappy as she does so. Okay? Because basically you become the loser, the one who basically allows her to do whatever she wants because you just want to keep the peace. Do you understand what I mean? So I think this is hilarious, but for those of you guys who are actually going to enter into this form, I feel bad for you. I feel bad for you. There's a story called, there's a woman coming up to her mother. Okay, this is a myth, whatever. But she ends up telling her, you know, getting married is the end of all of my problems. And a very wise mother, understanding the aspect of a rope, would say, yes, but which end, dear? Okay? Because there are two ends of the rope, meaning there are two ends of the problems. Is it the beginning of your problems, or is it the end of your problem? It's the beginning of all of your problems. Not the man's problems, but her problems become his problems. It is her problems that become accentuated and bigger, okay, once she gets married. That's the problem. It's not you who's the problem. It's not you and your problems that's the problem. It's her problems. So if you also bring your problems to the table, it's accentuated even more. Hopefully it's only her who has problems, but most probably it's not, right? Because you're trying to run away from your problems and you're massively in love with this girl and trying to get married. It's a really bad idea. Women are like fish out of water in monogamy. Okay, you understand what fish out of water does on land? They die very quickly. And until they die, they like flapping, and they're trying to get back into the water. That's marriage. That's a woman in marriage for you. Why is that? Because women were designed to be in love. Okay? This is crucial that you understand. Women were designed by the universe to always be in love. Now, anywhere else that you hear about these concepts, they're not going to tell you that. They're going to tell you that the fuzzy warm feelings that women have in the beginning when they're massively in love with their partner, that's for child play. That's childish. That's kind of like, you know, what you have as crush and as teenagers and in your 20s, you know, you're massively in love. But, you know, once you enter into marriage, this is what they say, then you know, that disappears. But this warmer, the more deep love you're going to get, because you're going to have an amazing friendship for life. They're basically admitting everywhere you read, in church, in any person you talk to will say that, yeah, but the in-love stuff and the passion and all stuff, that's not that important. It's more important that you have depth, that you can share your life with someone. This is BS, okay? Because us as men, we want women that are massively in love with us. To be honest, we want women who worship us, don't we? You know, that's not the case once you get married. That might be the case before marriage because at that moment in time you had options. And because you had options, you had confidence. And because you had confidence, she actually loved your guts, okay? She wanted you. She wanted to secure you and make sure that you married her and made sure that you proposed and made sure that you stayed with her for life. Because she's got competition. There's other women that want a good man, right? And you are a good man, especially if you're masculine, if you've got money, if you got everything set in order in your life. There's tons of women that want to marry you, right? But then you get into marriage and guess what happens? Like, you literally lose options. There's no more option because now you've legally binded yourself to her for life. In a system that by default is designed for you to fail. It is designed to make you fail, man. Like, why would you join a system that where you're going to be scammed? And you know in advance you're going to be scammed. Why would you do that to yourself even if God tells you to do so? It's like he wouldn't. He wouldn't want you to be scammed. That's what marriage is. These days, okay? A lot more so because of government, but also because you don't know what you're getting yourself into, okay? And also because you want to be a good guy and responsible guy and don't want to leave anyone behind. And from my standpoint, I agree with that. Once you've made the decision and legally binded yourself to this woman, now you need to learn game. Now you need to learn everything that you need to do in order for you to always retain her. And if you're following my channel, you will figure out how to retain any woman, anytime, forever. So that she doesn't divorce you and run away with half your money. Okay, that's critical to understand. That's like the most important thing to understand from a financial IQ standpoint. You want to be financially intelligent? Understand the woman. Understand her female nature. Because if you do, then you'll be able to retain her 100% of the time so that you can always retain your money and retain all of your years. Why did you work so much for all of those years if you're going to give her half of your money anyway? After the divorce and while she's sleeping with someone else. And why you won't, and at the same time as you only get to see your kids every other week. I mean, every other weekend. Right? It's insane what men get themselves into these days. Let's move on. Well, I just wanted to, one more thing on the less options thing, because that's men of high value are guys who have options and they've got confidence. And, hold on. Options is what gives you confidence. But a man of high value is someone who has confidence and someone who has commitment, okay? The thing is that monogamy causes you to be committed, but you lose all confidence. So you end up being the desperate man that your woman doesn't want, okay? Because she loses attraction for you the moment you lose options. The moment you lose options, the moment you're not confident anymore, because you're not confident if she struggles and she has problems. If she has problems, then obviously that's your problem. And since you're not able to solve her problems very often, then she's going to look down on you because you don't have the answers. You don't know. You're trying to figure things out and you're like, and because of that, she looks at you and she's like, my husband sucks. I'm turned off by my man. I do not want him to sleep with me. I do not want sex from this guy. I want him rather to be on the couch, to be honest. But once a week, I need sex. I hate this, but fine. Let's have sex. Is that really enjoyable? Really? Like, and it's from a turn-off standpoint. Anyway, moving on to number 13. Do I got a number 13 anywhere? Let's see. Yeah, it's from everything else. You become her lesbian lover and her friend. Okay, lesbian. Do you understand that there's something called lesbian deathbed? The longer women or lesbians live together and are married, okay, together, they basically lose all attraction. And they don't have any sex anymore because no one initiates. Yeah, this is what happens in marriage. You become her lesbian lover in the sense that nothing happens, okay? Unless you initiate. And guess what happens when you initiate? A lot. She's like, oh man, again? I have a headache, honey. Like, can we not? Okay, my wife doesn't do this to me because we understand this. Like, I can see through her. Like, I know what she's thinking. Okay, so, like, do you understand what I mean? This is what women do, though. And I don't want you to be a victim. Let's see. So you're not going to be her lover. That's a 100% fact. You get married, you are no longer her lover anymore. Forever. And if you are, it's because you get small handouts and crumbs from the rich. I love women, okay? I think they're amazing. But I'm just really putting this to a T so that you understand the importance of this so that you don't make the worst mistake of your life. Okay? Number 14, let's see. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Don't make promises you can't keep. If you don't understand the woman, you won't understand how to retain her. And if you can't retain her, guess what? Women are the ones that initiate 90% of divorces. But 100% of the time, it's his fault. It's his fault 100% of the time. 90% of the time, it's her who initiates it. So don't make promises you can't keep. And marriage is a promise you can't keep. Let's see. Number 15. Okay. Kids. You hear them? Okay, they're coming out of their room now, and I'm going to close that door in a sec. I'm going to explain about kids. Hold on a second. Do some push-ups. Okay. Okay, my wife handled it. Wonderful wife. Let's see. Okay, there will be kids. If not, why are you getting married in the first place? Right? Your kids will think monogamy is the norm. Now, that's an interesting one. Let's now dig deeper into why monogamy is so bad, but I still believe in family, I still believe in commitment, and I still believe not having sex outside of marriage. Interesting. Or outside of long-term commitment. Kids will believe that monogamy is the norm. Okay? So they will continue that generation, that tradition. If they see their parents, oh, they got married, and so I should get married and I should have one partner. Unless you teach them otherwise, they're going to follow your example. So if you actually take that step, your kids are going to take that step most probably. You increase the probability of that happening exponentially when you choose to get married in a monogamous relationship. The main reason why monogamy is screwed up is because you have another option. For you to have commitment, for you to have sex in your life while having a family, okay? I do not believe in having sex before long-term commitment. That's my massive inherent belief, okay? That I got married a virgin, okay? So I massively believe in that. There's tons of guys who were not virgins when they got married, but still they believe that, sex should be had only within marriage, and that's what I'm going to teach my daughters. But did you live it? Okay? Because the option that you've got, other than monogamy, is you've got voluntary celibacy. Okay? If we together are agreeing that sex outside of marriage or outside of long-term commitment is a very bad idea for women, and it causes them to become burdened, and for them to become masculine, and for their future marriage to probably not work, right? The more women have sex outside of marriage, the worse their marriage becomes. The best marriages are those where both people in the relationship are virgins. Interesting how that works, isn't it? Yet, only 5% of marriages have that as a fact. And how do we even know if the woman is lying or not? We don't. Okay? So if we understand this aspect, then the more partners a woman has, the more worse the marriage becomes. So you understand how this is more relevant today than it was 50 years ago, or 100 years ago, or 200 years ago. Today is the worst time in history to get married. What's the other option if it's not voluntary celibacy for life? Because I don't believe in that. I think that's ridiculous. I think that you should be planning to have sex within the next 5 years, next 10 years if you suck a lot. Okay? But if you have a coach, maybe 2-3 years. 3 Girls in Love. If you have not subscribed to my 3 Girls in Love channel yet, where I explain everything about women to women, then subscribe to that channel and be quiet from a comment standpoint, okay? Girls watch that channel and are like, you only have like low value men watching your channel on 3 Girls in Love. Like, no, I want women to engage there. I want women to ask questions because I want to help them understand themselves. Because female nature is a male science. Why? Because females have so many intense emotions that it's impossible for them to manage to rationally understand themselves for a full 30 days, okay, without their emotions coming in the way. A man can observe tens of thousands of case studies and he'll understand that a woman does this and this and this and this and this in this situation if she comes from this environment, and this is what happens. Okay, female nature is actually very, very simple if you understand it. I teach that on the 3 Girls in Love channel. What is 3 Girls in Love? 3 Girls in Love is where one man, a man of high value, who is massively financially independent, has a huge wealthy financial foundation set up. Why? Because he built it while he was voluntary celibate with the motivation of 3 Girls in Love as his end goal. Okay? At least as one of his purposes in life, that he wants to have that as a motivation to keep moving forward and establishing his own purpose in life. Okay? That's the goal that we're trying to get to. One man, trustworthy, responsible, someone who understands female nature and understands that this is the best for women and for the world and for kids and for the next generation. Monogamy is the root of all evil. Because if you look at society today, the reason why society is the way it is because all kids have come from the root belief of monogamy. I'm not saying that old polygamy is right, because it sucks and men did it the wrong way because they didn't treat women the right way. We need to treat women the right way and allow them to express their emotions and allow them to feel, allow them to do what they want to do when they feel like doing it, as long as it is within the huge parameter, okay, that we set. And within that parameter, they can do whatever they want. And we make sure that we provide luxuriously for them and we protect their emotions. We know what's going to cause them to emotionally become unstable. So because of that, we do the things that are necessary for them to never become rejected unnecessarily. Okay? So there's tons of all of this stuff that can be taught on the 3 Girls in Love channel. 3 women, not 1. 3. Why? Because women need women, okay? If you want to homeschool your kids, and I hope that you do, because public schooling sucks and is one of the worst things that you can do for your kids is to put them in school, then you will need 3 women to take care of your kids, and they will be their kids collectively. Women are able to live in harmony if you take the blame continuously. None of the things that happen within the home can be blamed on each other, okay? Jordan B. Peterson says that no woman will be able to live together with other women without there being massive disharmony and contentiousness, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't understand the principles that we teach, okay? He doesn't understand that the man can actually take the blame massively, okay? Everything that goes wrong is the man's fault. That allows the women to collectively blame the man. And if he does some really bad crap, they can leave him together, and they should. Okay, but if they don't, or if he actually lives according to the way that he's supposed to live, then the women will continuously edify him, and the man will actually be appreciated and rewarded for his efforts out there. Okay? If you do understand all of this, if you understand 3 Girls in Love, and you're just like, yeah, but I like this one, and I want her to be with me in 3 Girls in Love. Can we fix that? Yes, you can. But the moment you get married, the moment you marry her, you jinx the whole thing, okay? I've been wanting 3 Girls in Love for 5 years. But I've been sucking at getting to the level where I qualified according to my own standards because of the slowness of having a wife and 3 kids. It's not that they're holding me back. I'm using it as an excuse to some degree, but I also want them to be safe. I also want them to be secure. I also want them to have a nice life. Instead of me being out there working 80-hour work weeks and burdening my wife unnecessarily. Do you understand what I mean? Like, so you are jinxing the whole process if you want this one woman and you're saying, yeah, but I can get the 2 other women later. No, you can't. Okay, and if you do, it's going to require a lot of mental gymnastics and a lot of difficult efforts to retain those 2 women that you're trying to get into the relationship with you guys. The very best way to start 3 Girls in Love is simply you being single and you setting the bar there. I will not accept anything else but 3 Girls in Love because it is what is best for women and children, and I want the best for my women and children, and I want the best for me as a result for wanting the best for my women and children. Does that make sense? So So if you haven't subscribed to 3 Girls in Love channel yet, I highly suggest you do so. Let me go through the questions if there are any. What do you do if you already have a girl? What do you do if you have a wedding tomorrow? What should you do? Call it off, okay? I've told you, it is the worst decision you could ever make. Just because her in-laws have now arrived from the other side of the planet, and then now you're entering into this relationship, and you've already promised her that you're going to put that ring on her and say, I love you, and your vows forever, okay? Call it off, okay? You be the one who has cold feet. Because guess what? If the woman has cold feet, no one is going to blame her for that, and it's going to be okay. And we'll postpone the wedding a little bit and everything for you, babes. But if you do it, oh my gosh, that's a huge thing, right? So don't get romantically involved with women in the first place. And if you do have a girlfriend, then what you say to her is, I love you, you are absolutely amazing, I want you for life, but I don't know if I can. Because I do not believe in monogamy. I believe in 3 girls in love. She will freak out, but who freaking cares? She doesn't understand this. You do. So you make sure that she actually, if she wants to understand you, here's the channel. Study 3 Girls in Love. There it is. Massive 100 hours of education of 3 Girls in Love and allowing you to have the best lifestyle possible as a woman with your children. And I will do the things that are necessary in order for you to have absolutely the best that life has to offer. But I can promise you that monogamy simply won't cut it. And if you explain it that way, she might leave you, but who cares, okay? Because you would have a sucky life anyway with her, no matter how beautiful and amazing your relationship was before the marriage, okay? So, let's see. That's all it is I have for you guys. I hope you got the intensity, and I hope that you truly, if you are involved with the woman today and you're really considering marriage, watch this video 20 times, 100 times, just so that you understand everything in it, okay? And if you need personal help, then DM me at Men of High Value on Instagram. I answer questions there, but you'll probably have to pay because I'm getting too many clients these days. So let's answer some questions. And we only got one question. Fantastic. Let's see. As a masculine man, I cannot be a family guy for the life of me. Okay, well, I disagree with that one. I mean, thank you for sharing, but that's not the good way to think about it, because if you're feminine, then you want to absolve yourself of all responsibility and not have any responsibility for the rest of your life, and you don't want to have rejection, you don't want any problems and all that stuff. That's feminine. Masculinity is to desire to take upon oneself responsibility and the desire to handle problems and to handle rejection and to overcome it. However, in monogamy, you've got the continual rejection forever. Okay? You want problems and rejections that allow you to solve them in the short, at least medium term. Okay? But monogamy is a problem that puts you in a situation that you don't have a chance to solve for a lifetime. It's gonna suck for a lifetime. So why would you do that to yourself as a feminine man, but also as a masculine man? It's not rational. Femininity wants to hold themselves off from responsibility for as long as possible, but then they enter into monogamy and screw over everything, right? Because now they've got responsibility, they wanted to do the right thing, but it was the wrong thing. So they end up having a screwed up life before marriage and after marriage. As a masculine man, you get to have voluntary celibacy, practicing semen retention, so you don't need sex, okay? You don't need sex if you're practicing voluntary celibacy and you've got goals, okay? And if you practice that, then you also rationally understand that you want women in your life, you want sex in your life, and you want good sex in your life, and you want amazing kids, and you want a family lifestyle, and you want to have that as a motivation to keep working the 80-hour work weeks, and the women have now each other, so they don't need you at home all the freaking time, okay? They don't want you to be feminine. They want you to be out there and be masculine and bring us back the luxury lifestyle. We want the luxury lifestyle together as women. We want the security, we want the protection, we want the enjoyment of life, and we can have that if you work the 80-hour work weeks, not as a job, but building businesses, okay? Making millions upon millions upon millions of dollars because you know what you're doing. That's what we're trying to do as masculine men. So that's what I wanted to share. Let's see. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And again, I'll see you in the next one.